Good morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good morning.
Oh, that's work first time today. A miracle.
It's a Friday.
Just turn my radio off.
Alexa, stop.
There we go.
Alexa, stop. Shut up.
That's better. Done.
Oh, good. How are you this morning? Good?
Yes, fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. Fine, thank you. Very good. The recording has started, so if anybody has any objections to the recording, just let me know. But otherwise, we are recording these sessions just so that we can share these with any of your colleagues or any people that can't attend, if that's okay. Hello.
Hello.
We have a few Michelles on today. People sometimes ask me if I'm Michelle because I'm Shelley, so often.
All right.
Do any of you get called? Do either of you get called Shelley ever?
No.
I don't like it. I prefer Michelle.
No. I'm often Mish.
Mish, yes. I've
Someone
heard
doesn't
that.
know how much I hate it. But
Oh, really?
they
Okay.
won't make that mistake twice.
No,
It's
fair
terrible.
No, I get asked, are you Michelle? I'm like, no, I'm Shelley. Yeah. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning. Morning, Nancy.
Good morning. Morning.
How are you doing this morning? Are your videos not working or have you turned them off? I don't mind either way. I just wanted to check in case I haven't got the settings correct.
I've turned mine off.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
I don't want to scare everybody.
We kind of just get used to it, don't we? We don't, 2 years ago, we wouldn't even have thought about it. Now it's, you just get on with it. Yeah. So how you're doing in terms of your, I'm assuming it's all first aid qualifications. Anybody doing pediatric qualifications?
No.
No,
No,
okay.
not yet.
As anybody, yeah, okay, that's a good question. I was going to say, is anybody anticipating doing the pediatric qualifications?
It might be a thing that Evolution will be looking into.
Excellent, brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Because obviously we've done all the qualifications at the same time, so the first aid and the pediatric, all the changes have come into effect, across the first aid suite. So
Yeah.
brilliant, that'd be really good. I'm just waiting for my colleague Elena to join us, and then there's a couple of other people that have been booked on. But please feel free to chat amongst yourselves, or just have a cup of coffee while you're waiting, or tea. Where is the snow that they keep promising us? I can't see it coming anytime soon. Has anybody got snow where they are?
No.
No, they keep talking about all the snow that's coming and I'm getting all excited for nothing.
It's very cold here, but not snow.
No, I'm feeling quite cold today as well. It is a high of 11 today, which will be amazing, but I don't know, I'm feeling really cold. My poor heating, I keep turning it back on and I'm not sure because I'm sitting still or what the case is, but I am feeling quite cold today. Morning, Elena.
Oh, here we are. Morning.
How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Can you see me at all? I can't see myself.
No, I can't see you, no.
Oh, bear with me.
Okay. Hi, Cole. Morning.
Morning, everyone. Hello. We do have 3 minutes left. Shall I just go out, turn off this computer and come back? see
Oh
if that's
dear.
going to work, because I would like to be able to have my camera on, and I'm sure there's something wrong with it.
Go for it, Elena. That's
Okay, I'm just
absolutely
going to see
fine.
you in a second then, guys.
No problem. Go for it.
Bye-bye.
We'll chat. It's all got tangled up here. Anybody got any exciting summer plans? Or, yeah, we kind of just wait and see these days, don't we?
Hopefully not have COVID. I think that's the most exciting summer I can hope for.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Who would have guessed, hey? 2 years down the line, who would have guessed? Yeah. That would be nice, yes. The weather was really good the first lockdown, wasn't it? So let's hope we have the same again. Lots of nice sunshine. So we'll just wait a minute or two for Elena to join us again, and then we'll get started. Cole, you came to our other webinars, didn't you?
That's right. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yep, fantastic, brilliant. Do you have any questions from there?
No, it was all pretty
No.
straightforward.
Good, thank you.
And I've had well, my colleague has had an email about the new that was discussed, the just the defibrillator kind of only qualification. So yeah, he's forwarded that me today. So
excellent. Well, that goes live on Monday as well. So that's fantastic. So yeah, the new defibrillator quals are a nice addition to the first aid suite of qualifications. So yeah, brilliant.
the one question I had from that was, I haven't read the email yet in full, and I can't remember what we discussed the last time, but that presumably was an online course. Because otherwise people are going to have access to a defibrillator, aren't they?
No, it's not an online course. Sorry, no, it is a practical observed observation.
Right,
So, yeah.
I'll have a better look at it. But,
yeah.
I mean, we have some of those cheap trainer defibs, but they're not that fantastic, to be honest. So, but we'll have a look at that.
Yeah, have a look at the qual spec as well, which is on our website, and that'll take you through the requirements.
Will do.
Thank you. Okay, we'll just wait one more minute for Elena to join us, and then we will get started. Okay. Elena will be joining us shortly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through a quick presentation. Some of you have probably seen this already. It's just a very short recap of what we chatted about in the assessment strategy change webinar. So it's just a quick little reminder, and then Elena will take you through all the systems that you will need to use for these changes, and which is what this training is all about. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Shelley Van Kooten, and I am the Senior Product Developer at NOCN. And the first aid qualifications, including the new defibrillator qualification, is part of my portfolio of products that I look after. So I'm just going to grab my PowerPoint. So it'll be a second. Can I just confirm that you can see the PowerPoint in front of you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can.
Fantastic, thank you. So like I said, I'm not going to reiterate everything that we've already talked about. This is just a quick run through. So just a reminder that these changes come into effect from Monday, and it impacts all the pediatric and first aid qualifications. And the reason why we've brought in these assessment changes, as I said before, so that we have a standardized approach to assessments, and that there's increased validity and authenticity of the assessment process across the sector. But most importantly, there's obviously less burden on you as a centre to create the assessments, because we have created these for you. So from Monday, all the assessments that you'll be using for the first aid qualifications, including pediatric and the new defibrillator, will be the ones that NOCN have created for you. So these are the 4 qualifications that the changes will have an impact on, and all the qualification specs are on our website. So if you want to have a read through just to familiarize yourself with these changes, although we've covered them all in these webinars anyway, but it's always a good idea just to have a look. So what are the changes? As mentioned, we're going to have 2 different parts to the assessment process. We've got the multiple choice question test, which is now sits on our assessment platform, which Elena will be taking you through. And then we've obviously got the practical assessments, which is the observed practical assessments, which will be hosted on our vLearn platform, which I will be taking you through. And for the multiple choice test questions, we have got some sample tests available, which will be available from Monday on our assessment platform. And this is a great way for your learners to familiarize yourself with the assessment platform, what it looks like, and the type of questions that will be asked. So in order to achieve their first aid qualification, depending on what units they've chosen, learners will need to complete and pass both the multiple choice question test and the observed practical assessment. So again, this is all included in the qualification specification, but this is just a breakdown of the multiple choice questions for each of the qualification, the pass mark for each, and the time required to complete the the multiple choice test. And again, these are hosted on the assessment platform, and you should have received, or very soon will be receiving, an email about access to the assessment platform and setting up some centre admins on the assessment platform for your centre. So as you can see, first aid at work has the two units, whereas emergency first aid has just the 1. And the same again for the paediatric qualifications, the number of multiple choice questions, as well as the pass mark required, and the time to complete the multiple choice question on the assessment platform. So again, this is all covered in our qualification specification. I was just wanted to go through it quickly with you. And then, as I mentioned, the practical observed assessments, these are hosted on our vLearn platform, and I will be showing you this later in our session. Again, we have written these assessments for you, and there are a couple of options available for you to use with your learners to be able to support them in achieving the practical element. And then, as Carl mentioned, we have our new award in basic life support and safe use of an automated external defibrillator, which we're very, very pleased to be announcing, to be launching on Monday. And again, there is a practical assessment which we have created for this qualification, and that is also hosted on vLearn. So I'll show you where all of that is as well. So before Elena performs her magic, does anybody have any questions about what I've just covered?
No, good, thank you.
Oh, good, fantastic. Okay, so Elena, I'm going to hand over to you to do the rest of the training on the systems, etc.
Perfect. Thanks, Shelley. First of all, I'm really sorry, guys. I was having few issues with my camera. Hopefully you can all see me now. Yeah, perfect. Lovely. So, morning, first of all. My name is Elena. I am the trainer for NOCN. So we will be going through the different processes today that you do need to follow for the first aid qualifications. We will be covering a few aspects of few different systems, really. So first of all, we are looking at how you can register your learners. Now, can I ask how many of you are familiar with the registration process? Michelle?
Yeah, I do ours for Nancy. So Nancy's the trainer and I do the admin. So
you are familiar with the whole process of registering and avoiding then?
yeah.
Lovely. Okay. And then what about Stephanie?
I'm mainly a trainer, assessor and IQA, so usually we pass the registration over to our admin team as well, but I have asked if I can kind of be involved in this process a little bit
Lovely.
more, maybe start doing it myself, as I'll have more contact with the learners and obviously what the admin staff will.
Perfect. And what about you, Carl? You are on mute.
Pretty much the same as what was just said. So I'm just the deliverer. So yeah, I've got an assistant that does the registrations.
Okay. So I'm assuming that all of you have already got your access for CourseWeb. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. So what we're going to do then, I am going to show you the process of registration. Those who already know the process, just let me know if you've been doing something differently until now. After that, we are looking on how to schedule the actual test, which again, it takes place on CourseWeb. So those two things are taking place on CourseWeb. Then we have the assessment scheduling, which is on the Calibrant platform. The provider is Calibrant, so all of that information will sit under there. So we're going to have a look and see how that works exactly. A few days before the test takes place, you will be able to see, even after the test, you'll be able to see the progress of the learner. You'll be able to view the results of the learner and even mark them on there as well if you're having a paper-based test. Then we're looking into VLearn. Shelley's going to share her screen and go through VLearn for you. And the last bit is ERAC. That's the awarding part. That's where we're going to look on how you can put through the results on CourseWeb again, so you can receive the certificates for the learners. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Here we are. So, Shelley, are we recording the session as well?
I'm on mute as well, sorry. Yes, we are recording.
Perfect, lovely. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just bear with me. I'm just going to go into the website first of all. So this is our website, guys, right? So from over here, you can search for any qualification you're looking for. It's going to bring up useful information such as your course specs, any units, any information that you're interested to find out for. All of that will be available on here for you. But then if you go under the Systems tab, that's where you will be able to see all of our systems. So CourseWeb is over there. This is, as we said, our system that you will be, it will include all the information that has to do with your learners. So I'm going to click on CourseWeb. And over here, you always need to read and accept the terms and conditions before you add your login details. So I'm going to add my login details for this demo system that I have access for today. I'm just going to wait for that to load. Here we are. So this is our demo system. This is how your system will look like as well. You do have an email address and a telephone number for the customer service team on the home page, just in case you do need to get in touch with them for any clarification. You do have a user guide that we recently updated and added on here for you. And then if you go at the bottom of the home page, I've added on here a few videos that will be very useful to you when you do actually want to do your registrations. So if you do want to have a look on a video on how to register a learner for a full qualification, you just click on the first one and that will take you straight to YouTube and it guides you through the whole process you need to follow for registering your learners. So you have different forms, different links for qualifications. You have if you want to register a learner for a unit only rather than for a full qualification, that's another video on here. And then the same for the results. It shows you a video on how to put through the results for them. So for registering your learners, you have 3 tabs on the top. You always need to go to the Actions tab for them, right? So I'm going to click on my Actions, and then I have my e-registration submission over here. That's the command you need to go to. And then from over here, you need to choose the qualification that you want to register your learners against. Make sure, it says that at the bottom as well over here, that for a full qualification, you are selecting the same title at the top as at the bottom as well. So I'm going to just type my qualification. That's my title over there. You can see as I'm typing, the list is getting smaller and smaller. So I'm going to choose the qualification I'm looking for. And then I'm going to make sure that I select that same title at the bottom as well, because I'm doing a full qualification. So this is how it should look like. Once you're happy with all of that, you click continue. And this is our next page. Now the system is asking you to input the start date and the end date of when you are going to start delivering the qualification to this group of learners, and when is it that you're going to stop delivering it to them. So on the start date over here, you do need to open up your calendar like so. So I'm just going to click on here again. I'm going to open up my calendar, and then I'm going to go through, find my day, and just register my learners like that. 48 hours before the actual test takes place, you do need to make sure that your registrations have gone through. Okay, so I'm going to go through and choose my end date as well. I'm just going to choose a random date for now. Here we are. And then over here, we have the provided reference number and the purchase order number. These are internal numbers that you should have within the center. Now, if you're not familiar with them, with any of these references, it might be that you don't know your purchase order number, for example. Just feel free to put your initials in here, and it should still go through without a problem. And as for the tutor, any tutors that you had in place when you first became a center with us, you should have been asked to provide us with their details as well as their CV, their qualifications, anything to show that they're actually eligible to deliver the qualification. All of those tutors will then appear in here for you. So you should be able to find your tutor and just select them like that. For the ICV, when it comes to the first aid qualification, don't worry much about this part over here. That will always be a 0 for you. It says that on the top as well, because we're registering learners for a full qualification. Here, it should always be a 0. If you're completing a unit registration rather than a full qualification, and that unit is not going to lead to a full qualification, you will need to enter in here the intended credit value of the units that you're planning to deliver. So don't worry much about this. It's always a 0 for a first aid qualification. And the last part is over here. The system is asking you to upload an e-registration file. If you're already delivering security qualifications, there is an additional step for you here, which you are now skipping for the first aid qualification. That's only for the first aid qualification. You still follow the same process with downloading and completing your security examination order form for your security calls. But for this qualification, for the first aid one, what we will do, you just download the standard e-registration submission form, you complete that and upload it on here. You click continue and that will go straight through to NOCN. So I'm going to click here to download my standard e-registration submission form. So it's a simple Excel spreadsheet. You'll see just now, it's just asking you for some further information for this group of learners that you're registering. There is not a maximum number of learners you can register at the same time. So whether you have 1 learner, 10, 20, 30 learners at the same time, just feel free to add them all on this spreadsheet over here. There are 5 mandatory fields, which you always need to make sure that you do double check again and again. Make sure that you don't do any spelling mistakes. You don't forget to add any information on here. The date of birth, it always needs to be the right one. If you do something wrong and you do realize on time, give us a call the customer service team. let them know. They might be able to rectify that for you before you get charged. But make sure that these 5 fields are never left out. You always complete and you fill in all of the fields when it comes to these 5 ones over here. You can see they have an asterisk on the top. So that means that they're mandatory fields. Feel free to leave the rest blank, but these 5 fields are very crucial for you to complete. Once you're happy with all of that, you can save this file now on your desktop or anywhere where you can make sure that you can find it easily and upload it into the system. So for now, I'm just going to upload it into my system. And I'm sorry, upload it into save it on my desktop. Here we are. And I'm going to close this down now. I don't need this anymore. And I'm going to go back into CourseWeb, right? So this is our CourseWeb. And then this is the last thing I need to complete now. So I'm going to select the file. I'm going to find the file on my desktop, which is this one over here. And the system will give me a preview as well, so that I can double check whether all the information I've added on here is correct. Right? Obviously, because it's a demo system, it's not going to show that information correctly, but all of the information, once you do add all of your learners, should be available for you on here to double check whether this is the right document or whether you've done a spelling mistake or anything like that. If you're not happy with that, you can select another file. If you're happy with everything, you click continue, and the system will show you another preview of the rest of the form, just for you to make sure that all the other information is correct. So the start date, the end date, the tutor, if all of that is correct for you, you just click submit, and that should then go through to NOCN. So that's the whole process you need to follow for these guys. Do you have any questions, anything that wasn't very clear? Anything at all? No? Okay, no problem. So the next thing that we're going to look at right now then is the scheduling of the test, which again, it does take place on CourseWeb, right? So I'm just going to go back into sharing my screen. Here we are. So this is CourseWeb again. Now, whenever you do a registration, you should receive this confirmation on your screen with a number, which is what we call a run number, right? So this is a unique number you will always receive, and it contains all of the learners that you've registered for a specific qualification on that specific day for the specific classroom. So that run number will be a unique one whenever you do a new registration, whether this contains 1 learner or 20 or 30 learners. So what you can do on here, you can just keep a record of that run number, because you can look it up any day and find out information about the group of learners you have registered. So you can go into actions and then your runs. From your runs section, you can look up for any run number pretty much that you have registered throughout the years. If you are only wanting to view the current ones, that's what it will show you. If you do want to view the ones that they have left, or any learners that they have graduated or anything like that, you just untick that and it will show you all of your run numbers. So this is your table that contains all of the run numbers. If you are looking for a specific one and you do know the run number, just type it on there. That will bring it up for you. If not, you do have this option where you can just find the run number. I'm just going to click on a random one for now, and it will show you all of the learners you have available under that specific run number. So I'm just going to wait for that to load. Here, this is our run number. You can see I do have 2 learners on here, right? So the green one, it means that they have already achieved the qualification, and I do have a yellow one, which means that they haven't achieved it yet. They're still going through their teaching, their learning. Now, for scheduling the test for them, I'm going to go into the results tab, and then I'm going to go into the assessment scheduling. That's where you always need to go to schedule the test for them. There is not a specific time before the test that you do need to do this process. Even if you do decide to do it a few hours before, that will still work. But we do advise you to do that maybe 48 hours before the test. That way you are making sure that everything has gone through correctly. If you do have any issues, it gives you time to contact customer service. So just make sure that you do that process actually a few days before. So this is what it will look like, right? The system is asking you to choose the unit that this person is going to sit. We only have one unit for this specific qualification. It might be that I would have 5, 6, 7 units. So I'm just going to choose my unit, and then very simply, I'm just going to choose the date of the test. Just going to type it on here, or you can open up your calendar. Like that. Okay. Or as I said, you can just open up your calendar and choose your date from over there. And then the time of the test as well. You can just go through and choose a time for it. Once you do that, the test will be available for the learner to take 4 hours before the test and 4 hours after the test. Is that right, Shelley, still? Do we have that information?
Did you say 4 hours before?
Yes.
My understanding is it's 2 hours before.
Is it 2? Is it 4 in total then? 2 before and 2
4 in
after?
total, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So from the time that you they're about to take the test, 2 hours before, 2 hours after, they will be able to see the test available on there. So you should be able to see all of your learners available on here. Again, this is a demo system. It's not working properly for me right now for some reason, but you should be able to see your learner's name on there. And then what you will do, you click on the drop down box to choose whether this is going to be a paper-based test. You will have few options on here, whether it's a paper-based test or it's not going to be observe, record, and review for you. It's going to be an online test, so paper or online. So whatever that will be for that specific learner, you just choose the option. So let's just go for paper-based for now. You click apply. That will show up that your learner has been selected, and then you're going to click submit, and that should then schedule the test for you. So that's the process you need to follow there. Do you have any questions on that part? Anything that wasn't very clear?
Oh, good, thank you.
No? Perfect. Anyone else? Anything?
No, all good, thanks.
No problem. Okay, so the other thing that you will be able to do on here is the assessment scheduling platform. So shall I go through that first, Shelley, and then you will start showing VLearn rather than the other way around? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to go back on here. So the scheduling platform, guys, this is what it will actually look like. So we just move that around. Let me just log in. So when you got approval for this specific qualification, you will have now received a link and login details for this page over here. Has that email gone out yet, Shelley, or is that going to be Monday?
There should have been an email that went out, I think, on Tuesday with regards to assessment scheduling for all first aid centres. So you should have received one from our colleague Hannah, or whoever is your contact at the centre should have received an email from our colleague Hannah. If not, just drop me an email. I can get that sent over to you.
Mm-hmm. But in that email, you should have more information on what this platform is all about, login details for it, and then a link to this page as well. So
that's correct. And
sorry.
No, that's I was agreeing with you.
Perfect. Okay, so once you do add your login details on here, you're just logging into the page. This is what this page will look like. Again, this is a demo system. It shows me some demo learners on here, which obviously are not going to be available for you, but this is pretty much what it will look like. You do have a calendar where you can check all of the green parts are scheduled tests, whether they have passed, whether they're online or offline, right? You can see how many tests have been scheduled on here as well. So for today's date, if I go on my today's date, I can see that I have 4 tests that have been scheduled. I can see how many of them are online tests and which ones are paper-based tests. So after the test, sorry, before the test takes place, if this is a paper-based test, you can simply download it from over here. Once you download it, so if I just go through, just download it like that, it will bring up the test. That's where I can just print it out. Okay, I'm just going to print out this test. And then once the test takes place and the learner has gone through all of the questions, that will now change and it will give me an option on here to mark the test. I'm just going to click continue so that we can see that change now. Can you see now that that has changed? I can just go back now and mark that test manually. So if I click on marking, because a multiple choice test, this is what it will look like. I will have the test in front of me and then I can just go through all of the questions and just mark them like that. So that's my manual marking there. So once I do that, I click submit, and that's when the results will be saved for me. That's for the paper-based test. When it comes to the online test, this is my online test over here, and the learner will be able to take that test on the Calibrant, on the assessment platform. So my assessment platform, it will look something like this over here. This is where the person, the candidate will be able to take their test. The candidate username, you should be able to provide them these details few days before the test takes place. If you do send them an email out, providing them with their username, with their password, with any malpractice, maladministration documents, information about their test, how long it will take, all of that information will be in the email that you send them out. Now in here, their username is their learner's ID, which you can always find on CourseWeb. Every learner, when you register them, they do have a learner's ID on CourseWeb. So you add that, they can add that on there, and the password is their date of birth, which is going to look something like that. So that's my date of birth, right? So it will be 6 digits for the date of birth for their password. Before we go through this platform and I show you the functionality of it, Shelley will show you the vLearn platform, which is where you can find all the other documents. Before we go there, do you have any questions? Anything that wasn't very clear on this part?
Oh, good, thank you.
Yeah.
Fine, thanks.
So before I show you vLearn, one of the things that quality assurance has asked, that obviously if your learners decide to do the multiple choice test questions on paper, which is absolutely fine, as Elena showed you, you can print them out, and then you as the tutor, assessor, invigilator, you would capture those results on our assessment platform in that little table that Elena showed you. If your learners do make any changes to their choices on their multiple choice test, please can you ask them to sign and date the test, the changes. So say for instance they choose D as the option, and then they read the question and they go actually no, it should be A, and they cross out D and choose A. Could they please sign and date those changes that they make on their multiple choice papers? And then you need to retain those papers for when your EQA comes out. So when your EQA comes out to visit you and does a quality check, they will check all those multiple choice paper tests that you may have printed out. So please keep those along with the observation records, which I'm going to show you shortly. And also with regards to the multiple choice tests, it can be done on a phone. And so, for example, if they wanted to, it's a little bit difficult on a phone because it's quite small, but you can use tablets or iPads as well. So it doesn't have to be a desktop or a laptop. You do have the option to use a tablet or an iPad as well. And it would be the same process that Elena just took you through. You know, your learners would use that link. They would log in with their candidate number and their password, which is generally their 6-digit date of birth. Okay, so it's just really important that you keep their documentation. So I'm just going to take you to vLearn now. And again, your centres should have received emails with login details, etc. And again, it'll be whoever is your contact for your centre. They would have received instructions on vLearn. This is the document manager section of vLearn. Sorry, where is it? Sorry, my apologies. It is open here somewhere. It's always how it goes, isn't it? There we go. Let's just find it amongst all my. There we go. Okay, so this is what vLearn looks like. This is our online learning platform. Like I said, you should have your centre will have received login details of how to access this platform. All the documentation, all centres will have access to this area here, which is called the document manager. And you will have access to all the documents that your centre is approved for. So for the first aid qualifications, you will be looking for their observations. So you'll go into Document Manager. It's nice and simple. Click on it. And obviously Sector 1, so Health and Public Services. And 1.3, because it's Health and Social Care. And here you can see first aid qualifications, which are here. Again, click on the folder. And within first aid qualifications, there's 5 different folders, which are the 5 different qualifications, including our new defibrillator qualification. So say, for instance, you're looking for the observation for the first aid qualification. You will click on this tab square, and you'll see you've got 3 different tabs here. You've got your practical assessments, you've got your assessment guidance, and then we'll be popping in some resources shortly for you as well. So practical assessments is where you will find the other component that learners are required to complete as part of their first aid qualification. So obviously the multiple choice questions sits on our assessment platform, which they can complete in either paper or electronically. And then when they do the observations, you'll come and grab them from here. So again, just click on the practical assessments, and here we've got 3 different options for you to use for your practical observation. So you might want to, you know, with one cohort, try the first option, the next cohort. It's entirely up to you how you run your observations, but obviously you have to use these observations for that component of your assessment. So let's choose, I'm going to choose option 1. Just click on it, nice and easy. Sorry, I'm just moving my boxes around my screen. Click download. You can see it's opened as a PDF down here. Open it up, and here is the assessment, the practical assessment. You will go and print this off for your learners, for each of your learners. There's information on the front that needs to be completed, and again, these documents will need to be collected and kept for your EQA visits. And obviously for any of your IQA sampling as well. And you can obviously use this as well. It's important that both the trainer assessors and the learners also sign the documentation. And here is the assessment. So we've given you a little scenario at the top, and then some learner actions which we expect learners to be able to do. And learners do need to complete and achieve all of these assessment criteria. Obviously, this has been mapped to the qualification specification and the assessment criteria. So comments in here, so some feedback to your learners on what they've achieved and how they've achieved that assessment criteria. And then we've just got a few little questions at the end here just to fill the gaps in terms of understanding. So you would ask these questions of the learner and then just put in their answers and tick whether they've achieved it or not, and any feedback you would like to give to the learner. So that is where you will find your practical observation. Okay, and like I said, there are 3 different options, and these are kept for EQA purposes. I'll just take it back 1 second. Sorry, there we go. Just having a look at the defibrillator one again. Assessment is on here. The same thing again. Here it is. Same sort of details. And again, we've given you a scenario with all the different learning outcomes and assessment criteria that needs to be achieved in order for the learner to pass that qualification. Okay. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. So that is where you find the practical element of your observations. Does anybody have any questions for me on that?
All good, thanks, Shelley.
That good, thank you. And just you probably do this already, and I'm probably telling you something you already know, but obviously just keeping all that documentation for when your EQA comes to do their visit so that they can see what information you've been able to collect. Anybody else got any questions?
No, good, thank you.
Oh, brilliant, fantastic. Elena?
Perfect. Thanks a lot for that, Shelley.
No problem at all. Thank you, everybody.
So just before, I'm just going to share my screen again. And then just before we go into this platform over here, do you all already have access to this platform, guys? This information should have been sent in the email that we've sent out with Hannah. Is that right, Shelley? Is the login details on there as well?
Login details for what? Sorry, for the learners?
For the Calibrant platform, yeah, for the learners. Not for the learners, sorry, for the center.
Yes, the information is there. Yes. They in the email you need to nominate 2 center admins, and the center admins are the people that will be able to access the assessment scheduling on the assessment platform.
Perfect, lovely. Thanks for that.
Okay.
So when the learner on the day of the test, when the learner is ready to sit the test, as we said, that's where they will be able to add their candidate username, which is their learner's ID, learner's number, and then the password is their 6-digit date of birth. For now, I'm just going to go in this part though, which is pretty similar, to be fair. I'm just going to go through this part because this is where I have my sample tests. So I'm going to click here. Oh, well, bear with me. Bear with me, guys. I'm sorry for that. Oh, well.
Sorry, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to add my login details for
yeah.
the page, but I'm actually having an issue. Bear with me. Oh, well. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me for a second.
Does anybody have any questions in the meantime while Elena is just sorting out a technical issue? Is it clear on the different steps that you need to follow in order to get the assessment set up for your learners? Obviously, using assessment scheduling now means that it's at your discretion when you do the assessment. Helps with planning in terms of your planning in terms of your tests, making availability. Obviously now learners can do the assessments online, which is great. When the multiple choice is done online, you get the results immediately, which is another fantastic benefit of an online assessment platform. You get the results straight away. But has anybody else got any questions? No? That's okay. Brilliant. Thank you. Sorry, Elena, go for it.
Yeah, perfect. Sorry for that, guys. So once you do add your login details, or the learner adds the login details, this is what they will be able to see on the home page, right? So they will need to confirm that this is them. Just going to click on there. Once they do that, they will be able to see the live exams, which is where they need to go to take the live exam. Now, a few days before the test, they might want to complete a sample test, a practice test that is available on here to get more familiar with the functionality of the platform. So I'm going to click on there. And then on here, I have a few different types of tests. For them, it's only the multiple choice test that is going to be available, which is this one over here. So I'm going to click on that. And the system is giving them some information on before they start the test, how long this test is going to take, what types of, how many questions they have, what type of questions, what is the overall pass mark. So they're going to go through all of that. And then once you're ready, they click start test. So obviously this test is going to be, it's going to have a timer, which is available on the top. And then these are the questions over here. At the bottom, I can click through the questions by clicking on these circles over here. So I'm going to click on every circle, complete my test. It's a multiple choice one. And as soon as I do complete a question, you can see that that question is not white anymore. It's just blue right now. I do have this timeline on the top where I can still scroll through. I can click previews or next and complete my questions that way. If I'm not sure about a question, what I can do, I can flag it. So once you do flag that question, that will become red at the bottom. And then they do have this section where it's called assessment info. They can open that up and it gives them an overview of what they've done. So they can see how many questions they have overall, which is 10, how many they haven't answered. Once they click on it, it will show them the ones that they haven't been answered, how many they have answered, and how many flagged questions they have. They can click on the flagged question. So if I was on a random, on just a different one, and I was clicking on my flagged question, that will take me straight away over there for me to do my selection again, unflag the question, and then continue with the rest. Once they go through everything and they're happy with all of their answers, that's where they need to click finish test. So once they click on finish test, the system will give them another preview, which is where they can still check whether they have anything flagged. If there is something that hasn't been answered, they can always go back and change that. If they are happy with everything, they will simply click finish assessment. And then once they click finish assessment, they're not able to go back to the test. And they will receive this confirmation on their screen showing them that they're now completed the actual test. So that's the functionality of the assessment platform. It's quite simple, quite easy to use. The learners have also a few videos that they can access. You can send them those videos if you do want. You can find them on our website. There is a help and support section. And then under the system support, you can find videos for the testing platform that you can send them over. But again, a few days before the test, feel free to send them the login details so that they can access their actual the actual demo test and familiarize themselves. So that's what the assessment platform is about. Any questions on this part? Anything that wasn't very clear?
Oh, good, thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else? Carl? No? Perfect. Well, the last thing then, it's our it's where you will need to be putting the results for the learners so you can receive the certificates for them. And that happens on Courseweb. A few of you might be familiar with the process already, but let's just go through that quickly. Here we are. So for Courseweb, you can go still through our website over here. You can just click on Courseweb. you're going to log in and find, as we've shown in the beginning, the RAN number that this group of learners have registered under. So this is our homepage, actions, and then your RANs to find out the RAN number we're looking for. The latest RAN number that you do on CourseWeb, it will always be on the top. So you can just simply click on that. Obviously, because this hasn't been processed yet, I'm just going to click on a random one, just a different one over here. And the area where you need to put through the results is where you can also schedule the assessment. So it's in the same section. So these are my 2 learners. This is where you can find the results form for you to complete. So results and then e-results submission forms is where you need to go to. On here, you will have 2 options for a form. That will be the metrics one and the APL submission form. The metrics one, it will always be pre-selected. This will actually be blue rather than gray. So you don't change anything on there. The only thing you do, you click on generate ERAG. So ERAG, it stands for the recommendation of the award of credit. You just click on there and that will bring up an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm just going to bring up quickly just a random Excel spreadsheet for your results. Here we are. So this is what it will look like pretty much, right? So I'm just going to remove that from there. You're not going to be able to see that. Here we are. So I'm going to go back on my summary. I do have 2 pages. On the summary page, I'll be able to see the qualification name, the center name, the delivery venue, all of that will be available for me. Now, under my learners, it's where I will be able to see, again, the course name, how many learners I have available. It might have been that I was having more than 1 learner. All of them will have appeared on here. And I do have 2 units for this qualification that the learner had to seed. Might be that there were 5 or 10 units. So over here, this should have been blank. Okay, this will have been like that. And then you do have a drop-down box for each one of these units. So you just click on the drop-down box and click achieved if they have achieved that unit. If they haven't achieved it, you just leave it blank. It means that they haven't achieved the unit yet. Okay, so this is how it should pretty much look like. If you had more than 1 learner and they've all achieved, let's say, the same unit, you could even select, just click on this tick on the top, and that it automatically achieves them all. So that's that. And then once you're happy with all of the results you've put through, you save them again on your desktop, anywhere where you can make sure that you can find easily again. So I'm just going to put on my desktop for now. You might have a specific folder that you put through the results for every month that you do have registration. So it's up to you how you do this within the center. So once you're done with all of them, you close that down and you're back into CourseWeb. So what you will do for uploading the results into the system, you go into actions, and then that's where we registered them, if you remember. Now this is where we're going to put the results through. So I'm going to click on the e-result submission. It's going to bring up a simple page. As you can see, it's only asking you to upload the results. Again, if you're not sure how to do that, you can follow the videos on the home page or just follow this registration awards user guide. But it's a very simple page. You just choose a file, find the file on your desktop, or again, anywhere where you've added those results. So that's my document. I click submit, and that should then go through to NOCN. Within a few days later, you should be able to receive the certificates for this group of learners. So that's pretty much everything. Are there any questions, anything at all?
No, fine, thank you.
No, that's very clear.
Brilliant, thank you. What I was going to say is obviously that, you know, Elena showed you that on our website we've got lots of videos and guides available. So, you know, please have a look at those, use those, but obviously get in touch with us if any questions as well. Cole, do you have a question?
Yeah, will we have a kind of step-by-step? I mean, I know there's videos and stuff like that, but is there a step-by-step guide of this? Because that seemed, I mean, you know, I've not seen the back end stuff before, so that's quite a lot to take in.
Okay.
Initially,
like a-
Carl, do you mean specifically for the awarding part or for all of it?
Well, for what we've just discussed, really, I mean, there seems,
Okay.
you know, that's the first time I've come across quartz where, you know,
Yeah.
but
So-
you know, it's
You want
almost
like
kind
a
of like
process map,
yeah, exactly,
like a
yeah,
flowchart.
yeah, exactly,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. It is something that we're working on at the moment. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we will be able to send you that out when that's ready. But for the different, you know, systems, on the systems, there's always a user guide, like we've seen on here on Quarter, for example. You can see a user guide specifically on the awarding part, or a user guide on the home page on how to register your learners. So all of those user guides are available on the systems.
Yeah, the user guide that's been created actually does start from Quartz Web and go all the way through. So that you might find that quite helpful, actually. Do you want me to send it over to you, Carl?
Yeah, I'll take anything at the moment.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like I said, the emails have come up, but it's probably gone to your center contact, so
Yeah,
you might
exactly.
confuse yourself. So let me send that to you after this, if that's okay.
Thank you.
And again, Carl, I mean, you can arrange additional training sessions if you want to. Just go on our training requests form, complete your request, then I will be able to arrange a training with you and go through the whole process again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else from anyone else?
No, thank you.
No? Brilliant.
No? Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining. I really hope that you did find the training useful. If anything at all, any additional training sessions, just come back to me. Any questions while you're completing a process, let's say you're registering and you are actually having a question and you can continue from there, just call the customer service team and they can guide you on the spot on how to do a specific thing. But yeah, if anything, just come back to us, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for attending, and have a wonderful weekend. And you will receive a copy of the recording sometime next week. So if you want to, you know, watch the recording again, that will help. And Carl, I will send over that guide for you shortly. All right.
Yeah,
Take care,
perfect.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.